Hi, my name is Ryan DeLuz and this is the Arcade Tips and Tricks video. This is a relatively long video as we will go over many of the arcade games. We'll start at the bottom and go over the easy games first, and then move on to the top row of games and finish with the middle row of games. The middle row of games are the most complex games and will require the most explanation. So starting at the beginning, in the bottom row, this is an easy game, Crazy Cat. You can choose your cat and hit play. Then just press the spacebar or any gamepad button to jump. You want to avoid the enemies on the sides of the walls and not touch the ground while collecting the power-ups in the middle of the screen. Also, sometimes dogs fall and you want to avoid those. The next two games, Jelly Jump and Dragon Dreams, are also one-button games. In both of these games, you simply press the spacebar or any gamepad button to jump. Dragon Dreams is a little bit harder than the other two games. Then moving on, we have Shell Collector, Frog Crossing, and Obstacle Horse. In these games, you move side to side, and in Obstacle Horse, you also jump. I'm going to show a little bit about Frog Crossing. There is a shop, so as you collect coins, you can unlock new characters to play. Let's play through a level of Frog Crossing, just so we get an idea of how to play. So we move up, down, left, and right to move the frog around, and we want to avoid all of the moving objects while collecting coins. Here is a lily pad. If we want to cross the water, we have to go onto the lily pad and not touch the water. Here's a coin chest. Collecting coins allows us to unlock the different characters. This orange line shows that I can't cross. You can see the fog coming up from below. If that white fog touches me, I have to start again. This pink clock slows time. Another medium difficulty game that lets you unlock and collect power-ups is Submarine. This is also a one-button game. When you press the button, your submarine moves up, and when you release it, it goes down. So if you hit something and crash, then you need to start again from the beginning. You can also go to the shop and buy additional things, including new submarines and power-ups that you can use during the game, or a revive that you can use so that if your submarine crashes, you have an extra life without starting over. So those games are pretty simple, and the gameplay is rather easy, and that's the bottom row. Moving on to more complex games, we'll go to the top row. These games with the diagonal arrow in the upper right-hand corner are external games and launch in a separate window. We're going to come back and take a look at these games at the end. So we'll start with X-Racer. X-Racer has two basic color and music configurations, so you can check or uncheck this box bright and colorful to change both the music and the visual look of X-Racer. There is a store so that as you gain credits by going through rings and achieving various things within the game, you can unlock new ships. And these new ships do fly better. They turn quicker, which is very important in the game. So this is a very fast game, and when not played on autopilot, it's quite challenging. So take your time and learn how to play. You want to go through the blue rings and avoid the obstacles of whatever nature. Because you turn slowly, look for openings right in front of you. You won't be able to go far to the right or left to find openings that aren't close to your character. This is another faster paced game called Hyperspeed. Now you can choose to use this game in slow, which makes it quite easy. In fast or faster, the game is very quick, and you need to be very precise in your movements, otherwise your ship will die almost immediately. You want to collect the white spheres while going through the narrow openings. If you're moving quite fast, you need to look far off in the distance and prepare yourself in advance to navigate the small openings. This is Jam Blocks, a fruit-themed tetromino game. Although the game is in some ways complicated, it is possible to also have fun as a complete beginner, and also young kids do like this game. Starting with jam blocks, the theme of these following games is that they're all brain games, games that make you think, sort of puzzle games. Next up is Jelly Puzzle. In Jelly Cube, you have control over the green cube, and in later levels also the red cubes. Move the green cube in order to hit the blue cube. You have to be one square away in order to move towards and push the blue cube. The goal of each level is to cover all of the colored squares with cubes of the same color. In this level there's just one square, and so we need to cover it with the blue cube. Be careful not to push blue cubes too close to the edges. Once a cube reaches the edge of the play area, there isn't any way to get it back. If you get stuck like this or in any other way, you'll need to click the refresh button in the upper right hand corner to restart that level. Take your time when presented with new challenges in Jelly Cube. For example, in this level, where you need to control all of the cubes at the same time. Figure out how to use the white blocks to block the movement of the orange cubes in such a way as to line up the cubes and win. Next we have Double Double, a doubling game. In this game, we need to combine identical numbers. So if I press down or up, the two 4s will combine. New squares that appear generally appear as 2s or 4s. The goal of the game is to form a number as large as possible by combining these identical numbers, which get larger and larger as the game progresses. Although in some ways this is a complicated strategy game, the movements of the game are actually quite simple, and the game can last for enough time even if you don't have much strategy. So I've also found that young kids can enjoy playing this game. Bubble Burst is a game that starts off simple and gets quite complex as the levels increase. There are many different levels to choose from each of these different worlds. In the game, you need to knock over the spiders, but without hurting the baby bugs, without letting them fall. You place bubbles from the side of the screen, and it shows you how many bubbles you can place in the number here, on the right side. Now, for a gold star medal, you have to use only one bubble in this level. So let's try placing it here and see what happens. I click the B, he explodes the bubble. I've knocked the spider off and the baby bug stayed, and I get a gold star for that level. Earlier levels will be fun for everyone, while later levels will require a lot of hard work in order to figure out the unique tricks in order to beat the level. Electro is a game that starts off simple and gets a little more complex as you play. You choose a level, and you need to drag from one bolt to another as if you had a pencil and you needed to connect these bolts without lifting the pencil. And you see, at this point now I'm stuck. I almost made it. And this X shows the bolt that I started on. So generally if you don't succeed, you should try starting on another bolt. For example, if I had started maybe at the top or the bottom, I might have succeeded. So I can click this refresh button and try again. Math Race is a fun game for people who like math, where you have to solve math problems very rapidly. Don't miss the options button in this game, where you can choose the difficulty level of the mathematics. You can choose beginners, only addition, addition and subtraction, addition, subtraction and multiplication, or addition, subtraction, multiplication and division. Rocket Builder is another game where you're able to progress over multiple sessions. The opening screen is the shop, where you can buy rocket upgrades. And you need to collect these plasma balls in order to get the money for the upgrades. So you can choose an easy or hard mode. In easy mode, your rocket doesn't fall, and in hard mode it does. And I just press up, to make my rocket launch, and right and left to move my rocket to the right and the left. It's important to note that you have a very limited amount of gas in this game. And if you can see, at the top middle of the screen is my gas meter. Now, the longer I hold down, up, left, or right, the more gas I use. So it's more efficient to use short bursts of gas to try to get to where you want to go. If you collect 5 astronauts, you get another ship. Every time you hit something, you lose a ship. And if you run out of fuel or ships, then you have to start again. Solar Swarm is a fun, high-intensity game that's actually quite easy. There is some complexity in the game because you're able to collect power-ups, and some of them you have to choose when to use. But the movement of the game is very simple. It's just up, left, down, and right in order to move away from the obstacles. The shooting happens automatically at the nearest target. This is Jump, a game that's simple in concept but hard to play. Easy makes the platform slightly larger than hard. The yellow platforms fall, and the blue dots give you a jet up. One trick to note is that if you get stuck, it is possible to jump all the way from the left side of the screen to the right. When you first start match 3, you can choose to go through the tutorial. Once you click play, you get to choose which types of objects you want to match. For example, you can be matching gems, berries, dinosaurs, planets, princesses, or more. So you'll be creating lines of 3 or more of this object. For example here, I need to create a line of 3 or more of any of this type of planets. And there's a suggestion. These 3 planets are pulsing in and out, and I can drag one of them and create a match of 3. Now, every single move you make needs to create a match of 3 or more. Here I am in level 1, and when you first start, you learn an important thing, is that there is one special move where you don't create a match of 3 or more. And that is when you have 2 special objects, these pulsing objects, and you drag one into the other, which creates various kinds of explosions depending on what special objects you have. Special objects also explode when you create a match of 3 or more containing a special object. Although most moves create a match of 3 in a row, horizontally or vertically, sometimes you'll be able to create a match of 4 or even 5, or create 2 matches of 3 at the same time. If you do any of these special things, you'll be rewarded with one of these glowing, pulsing special items that you can use to explode and clear out areas in the future. For example, right now, if I drag this planet down, I'm going to create a line of 5 and receive a special item. The level ends either when I run out of moves, in which case I lose, or when I achieve a certain goal. And in most levels, the goal is simply to get a high enough score. If I pass this second marker here, I'll get 2 stars. And if I completely fill the bar, then I get 3 stars. There are some additional gameplay elements in Match 3. For one, you'll find these wooden blocks. Now, wooden blocks that show that they're almost broken are easiest to destroy, and the solid wooden blocks take more than one hit in order to destroy. Right now, these bottom squares are empty because there's no way for pieces to fall into them. As soon as I make the explosion and break the wooden blocks, as much as possible, the pieces fall down and fill in this empty area. Levels with glass work different than other levels. As soon as you break all the glass, the level is over and you've beaten the level. To break the glass, you need to form matches of 3 with items that are inside the glass. And as you can see, it takes multiple matches in order to break the glass. This is also where special items become very useful. So for instance here, I'm about to break this yellow sun, and it will help destroy the glass next to it. This is Captain Corgi. It's the most fully featured game in arcade, and designed for people who are familiar with video games. To get started, you need to choose a difficulty level. For young players, or anyone who doesn't have a lot of experience with video games, choose easy. For people who are comfortable with games, choose medium. For very experienced players, who want the added challenge of navigating the levels without guidance, choose very hard. To get started, move using the arrow keys or gamepad to choose a level. Levels marked with a green flag are levels you have already completed. Levels marked with a red flag are still locked. To unlock red flag levels and progress through the game, move Captain Corgi to the yellow flag, then press Enter or any gamepad button to begin playing. Once you start a level, you will be able to move, jump, fly, and shoot. Let's take a look at some of the basic ways to move. You can jump by pressing the spacebar, up arrow key, or the first button on your gamepad. You can jump multiple times before landing. To jump the highest, wait for a fraction of a second between jumps. You can shoot by pressing the right Control or D keys on your keyboard, or at the various back buttons on your gamepad. By shooting, you can clear various monsters, and you can break crates. To climb ladders, press up while near a ladder. In addition, you can jump on pink blobs. The quickest way to clear them is by jumping and shooting down. While in the air, you can press the dash key to dash forward. You can do multiple jumps and dashes to travel long distances. Press W, numpad 0, or the second gamepad button to use your jetpack. As you use your jetpack, the blue fuel meter shrinks. Collecting coins increases your score, shown in the upper right-hand corner. As your score increases, your jetpack upgrades to have more fuel. You can use your jetpack in tight spots like this to help you more easily pass obstacles or reach hard-to-get places. If you see an arrow with a question mark, following it can lead you to a shortcut or a helper where you learn more about the level. Thin platforms like this allow you to jump down. To jump down, press down, then press the jump key. If you are using the keyboard arrow keys, this means pressing and holding down, then up. To swim in the water, press up and jump. Collecting health packs increases your health, which is shown in the upper left corner. Collecting coins also increases your health slightly. Jumping on these water springboards shoot you up high. Enemies marked with a radioactive symbol must be destroyed to open passageways that allow you to continue to progress. Levels that are larger often have movable blocks that can be moved once you reach a certain area. Moving these blocks allows you to take shortcuts through the level. Here we destroy a crate and drop a movable block. This block opens up a shortcut that goes from the beginning of the level right to the end of the level. So if you almost reach the flag but don't succeed, you don't need to start all over again. Remember, this game is quite hard, and you'll probably need to go through each level many times in order to complete it and progress to the next level. Later levels are much longer and much more difficult than earlier levels, so you'll need to build up skill as you play. Here in level 2, you'll need to know how to jump and move or dash forward in the air in order to reach the end of the level. At the end of the level, you'll need to practice jumping high and over the final pink blob using jump and dash or your jetpack, or you can position yourself perfectly and shoot. From level 5 and on, you'll need to be pretty good at video games in general, as well as have mastered some of the basic elements of Captain Corgi in order to beat the level. This is Forgotten Realm. Forgotten Realm is a very challenging game. Even a single hit can require you to restart. In Forgotten Realm, you move left and right to avoid obstacles. You can also jump over and duck under certain obstacles. At the end of each section, turn left or right as needed. Collect coins to increase your score. It's very important to collect these potions, as while you're under the effects of a potion and see hearts on top of your character, this means you can get hit once by most objects and continue to play. Certain places require very precise patterns of movement in order to not get hit. In these fans, jump and press left-right, or start on the right side and press left-left-right in order to avoid the fans. Collecting a magnet draws coins towards you. Next we'll take a look at Prehistoric Defense. Here in Prehistoric Defense, we develop and defend a prehistoric tribe. Glowing blue areas like this and over here show where you can build new structures. New structures can increase the size of your tribe or give you new abilities. Click on a glowing blue area and then click Build to have one of your tribe members build the new structure. To move your camera around, you can either click and drag your mouse, use the arrow keys, or click a gamepad button and then use the gamepad stick. Here you see these dinosaur bones. When you click them, you have the option to build the hunter's hut. Once you build the hunter's hut from the dinosaur bones, you can start hunts. Before you start a hunt, you must build one or more towers to defend your cave. To build a tower, find a glowing blue grassy platform and click it. You can then choose from different types of towers, which will appear later as your tribe develops, and click Build. To start a hunt, press the bow and arrow button. Choose a smaller number of possible food for an easier hunt. During a hunt, your tribe members will collect food. The more food you collect, the more food you'll have at the end of the hunt. At the same time, other animals and opposing tribes will come and try to steal food from your cave, so you need at least some of your tribes in the towers to defend your cave. Click on a tower and click plus to have one of your tribe members man the tower. Your tribe members in the towers will throw stones or use other abilities to drive away the attackers. Try to stop all of the attackers from stealing food from your cave while gathering as much food as you can. Once this number up here gets to 0, that means you can't collect any more food during the hunt and need to wait for all of the animals and other tribes to leave. To improve your defense, you must increase the size of your tribe and gain the ability to build better towers. Starting on the next platform, building this hut increases the number of villagers by 2. Once you've done that, you can click this rock and become a Master Mason. Now you see, in order to build this structure, I need 150 units of food, but only have 70. So I would need to complete more successful hunts before I could build this structure. Now that I have enough food collected, I can build this structure that allows me to become a Master Mason. This now allows me to build a new kind of tower. Because of this upgrade, I now have the ability to use this new kind of tower, which rolls stones that affects many enemies at once. Continue to explore the neighboring environment to find new upgrades for your tribe, and find the perfect placement of the different types of towers to defend your cave. Thanks for watching, and I hope these tutorials help you get the most out of Arcade.